Okay, y'all ready for this? Do 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 do.
We can't clear the rights.
It's true.
The what?
Come at me, ass cap. And I know it's ASCAP, but I like saying ass cap because you're an ass hat for charging people to use music.
Amen.
Especially on a podcast that makes $0 like this one. This is a cash loss machine. It prints negative money, and we love it.
That's true, but the love and adoring support of our fans makes up for it.
It's true, yeah. There's like 5 or 6 people who occasionally tell us they like us on the website
Places.
Twitter, which I will never call the other name because gross.
Disgusting.
Oh,
It
That's
really
another name.
just for a brief moment. And the website's been this for a long time, listener. I know this is all going to sound very asinine to talk about it. Some 9 months after it's been changed. But that one, the font choice, the letter X, and the white on black, silver on black, like it just vibes like
Didn't they also
an X-rated dating site.
Yeah.
Didn't they just also update it to be like a marbled look and not just straight black?
Oh God, did they?
Everyone go look at your apps.
I think mine's still
icons.
normal, but it's
Oh no,
very,
yeah, I haven't updated that app in 8 months.
Smart.
And I've seen some articles. People are trying to sell iPhones with the old version of the app on them for money.
Oh, so it's like
on eBay.
Flappy Fish all over again.
Yeah.
Flappy Bird?
Flappy Bird.
Wait.
Yeah. Flappy Bird. Yeah.
Flappy Bird. Slappy Fish
But
is the one that came after.
Flappy
back to back
Fish.
to back.
You've given us an idea. We can make an app called Flappy Fish.
And only put it on some iPhones.
Yeah.
And then sell those iPhones.
Yes. And then people will be like, oh my God, it's a forgotten app with an old logo.
This is gonna be like reverse Mandela effect. We're gonna have to be like, no, it was huge. You don't remember? Everybody knows Flappy Fish. It shook the world.
Yeah. The Enel Dam effect, I think, is the one you're thinking of.
I don't get
That's
it.
the reverse Mandela.
Oh, okay, guys.
I didn't do it
Oh my
right.
God.
I didn't do it right. I didn't even write it down.
No, that sounded right. Yeah, I can't say it any better. I think you did it. I think that was really good on the fly, honestly.
Yeah. That was listener. That was only like 5 takes, I think, before I got it. Yeah. The magic of editing. Ahoy there!
Ahoy!
This is Debut Buddies.
Oh, sorry.
You good? You can ahoy my ahoy.
Ahoy, buddies.
Ahoy, buddies. This is a podcast that happens every fortnight, and it's all about firsts. Like your first underpants or your first album that you bought. We haven't done those episodes yet, but we might.
I don't know if I can recall first underpants.
Probably not. At least one of them probably not.
I'm just trying to remember what
Is
my
the
first
first time out of
underpants would have been.
diapers? Is it
I assume
a
it's
diaper?
it's
Is
probably
the
some
first-
sort of hospital provided cloth diaper or wrap.
Oh,
But is that really underwear if it's not under anything? It's the only thing you're
that's a
wearing.
good point.
Yeah.
That's true. It's outerwear.
Look, we could litigate this all night.
This will be a big debate.
This is Clippy, all dick, no dick, all over again.
Yeah. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the First Ransom Note. Now, I know, listener, that I believe we promised you an episode about the first labor union. And every podcast has what people call a lost episode. Now, sometimes it's, the recording equipment failed or the editor exploded, a la Drummers and Spinal Tap. This is some mix of the two, but we're gonna try to bring you that labor union episode when we can sort that out. But heck, maybe the labor union episode is being held ransom, and that's why we're doing this ransom note episode. You ever think about that, listener? No, you didn't, because you're just listening to us instead of thinking, and that's why we're here.
I mean, if you do donate
You're
to the
welcome.
Patreon, there's a chance we could do the labor union.
There you go. Yeah. Consider the idea of donating roughly a combined 5 years' salary for each of us.
Yeah.
And some additional runway for living expenses, a little bit of free walking around money,
Yeah. Pocket change.
Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the First Ransom Note, and this is some wild stuff. And I haven't even said my name yet. I'm Nate. I'm one of the buddies.
I'm Kate. What? I said I'm Kate. I've never been Kate.
I'm Kate.
I'm Kelly. I'm another buddy.
Never been Kate sounds like a really good rom-com name, though.
Is it possible that Kelly has an identical twin named Kate and Kelly is being held ransom? I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So,
Yeah.
An additional buddy.
Come to think of it, you do seem like you're flipped differently than normal. Like your features are all sort of just
just a
yeah,
little.
you're mirrored.
Little
It's odd, yeah.
Am I uncanny valuing you right now?
I mean, otherwise, what? Do you have a malignant? Is the malignant speaking? Is your malignant's name Kate? Is that what's happening here?
Spoilers.
Oh, and I'm Chelsea. The other is Buddy.
Listen, hey, look, listeners, we got to be honest. We haven't recorded together for, I don't know what, like 2 months?
It's
Yeah,
been
quite some time.
God, has it been 2 months?
It's been a clip.
You mean too long?
Yeah.
Too
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Too long, too furious. It has been since we have recorded.
Oh my God. So much has happened. So many
much.
things have changed.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea has a cough now.
Yeah.
Chelsea's got a cough. The former president's been
What?
indicted for something. Like, when
This
when
could have
did
been
something
in the
like
last
that ever happen?
4 months.
I mean, unprecedented. Unprecedented.
Oh. Did you guys, sorry, I'm going to kick us off with a tangent.
Yeah.
Did you guys follow the gal while Donald Trump was actually president? Every day she posted, today was the day Donald Trump became president. Like, because he was always doing something insane. And so, I don't know, it was a funny bit. And I still follow her on Twitter. She doesn't do the bit anymore. But every so often when he does something super insane or gets indicted, she'll post that. And so I'll see that come up on my feed and I'm like, fuck, what did he do? Like, I gotta go find out.
It's your bat signal.
It truly is.
It's your
Like
Kate
an
signal.
Amram, I think it's my Kate signal.
Ooh, that's an even better storyline for this. Is like your superhero identity is Kate, and you fight crime as Kate every evening.
I just slipped up,
and you just slipped. You're mild mannered podcast host by day,
and by night I'm what? Is Kate like a Karen? Am I like asking to see managers left and right?
No. Kate's out there like A cabin and
Starting
B
unions?
cabin, just all C cabin even. Crushing Cabernets.
Oh.
Oh, hey, listener, we got a Boda box. Boda box, one of our newest sponsors on the podcast. Boda box. When you can't hold a bottle, hold a box.
Huh. You know, that is actually really nice and thoughtful.
I mean, look, you can drop a Boda box and really nothing. I mean, look, you could make a mess, but you're not going to make like I need a broom and a vacuum and a mop. And I also need to wear shoes in my house for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And my cat has to walk on the ceiling. Like, you don't have to deal with any of that shit. Boda box.
Boda box.
Go to Boda box, enter code buddies to get a message that says
Boda
not
box
valid.
buddies.
This doesn't exist.
Boda buddies. Boda box for when you want little droplets of wine on every surface you leave the box on.
It's like the drink ring on the bottom of a glass,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
If you're drinking a lot of something, you get a ring on the table, you go like, oh yeah, I'm a drinker. Boda box is like, hey, you got a little IV going, fella. Think about this.
It's also a nice little Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb so you can find me when I inevitably get kidnapped.
The detectives are out there like, looks like we've got a trail of blood. No, it's mid-priced boxed wine.
1997 Shiraz? No, it's a Boda box.
Oh no, now you've got the cough.
Oh no.
Nate, join us.
I know, I'm next.
That sounded
Was
fake
that a
as
con-
all get out.
Uh-huh.
We need it to be productive. That didn't feel productive at all.
Let's talk about this ransom note. First of all, though, have any of us been kidnapped before? Or kidnapped and written a ransom note for someone else?
Great question.
Have you heard of John Benet Ramsey? That was me.
Wow, really? You
No,
look
I
a
was
lot
the
more
kidnapper, by the way. I was the
Oh,
I left
okay.
the ransom note.
sure. Great job covering that
Thanks.
up, because everybody
I
thought the
didn't kill her,
parents.
by the way. That was the brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the
There was a
brother, for
mix-up.
sure.
You just wrote a note.
I was gonna kidnap her, but I was never gonna kill
And then she
her.
wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
I prefer like you were hanging outside a liquor store and and the brother came and was like, "Could you write a ransom note for me?" And you were like,
Sure, kid. One ransom note for a Boda box, please.
"Yeah, there
We'll
you
do
go.
fair trade.
No nota without bota."
Oh God.
I did have a woman I was dating pseudo kidnap me as a date theme once when I was like 24.
Oh.
Was it?
Were you scared?
It was a very lighthearted, fanciful thing, and there's absolutely nothing negative to say
Okay.
about it. But it was definitely like, hey, I'm picking you up after work, and we're gonna go do a thing. And I was like, oh, cool, what are we doing? And then I was like, oh, normal surprise, whatever. This will be normal. And then it was just like not telling you anything, and we're just gonna sort of drive in this direction that I'm not accustomed to going normally in things. And it was like, this is a little weird, but it was totally fine. It was absolutely fine.
Okay, that is scary though. One of my best friends of years did that to me. Not like a big surprise. He was picking me up from the mechanic and we're, leaving the mechanic and he turns left instead of right. And I have known him like such good friends, constantly very drunk together. If he was going to harm me, he had plenty of opportunities. And still, when he turned left, I was like, where are you going? And he was like, you'll see. And I was like, you tell me right now.
Yeah. There's a little bit of an instinct of like, you have to tell me where we're going. Like, I
need to know.
Yeah. And this was that was kind of exactly the feeling I had, because it wasn't like I was, it wasn't like a sense of actual harm as much as just like, I don't like it. It's not a thing. Like, surprise me in a context where I'm surprised, not in a context where I'm being dragged toward the surprise. Maybe.
Yeah.
Bring the surprise to me. I need to know where I am.
Right. Yep. Right. Yeah. And that's, we're both extremely controlling people, and that's why we're so lovable.
Don't say that about me. What about you, Chelsea? Have you been kidnapped?
Almost.
Whoa.
There was one time at the apartments I lived at when I was younger. There's like this big lake with a fence around it. And I was a tiny child, so I could fit into the bars to get into the lake. And I was walking around the lake alone, which normally I had friends around, so normally I would be with them. But I was just walking around alone, I don't know, clearing my head, as a child with all those thoughts in my head. I was probably like 11 or 12. And I was sitting down, and I remember sitting by the lake, and a guy came up to me and started asking if I had seen his dog. And I said, I have not seen any dogs.
Oh, no.
And
it's like a fucking classic kidnapper thing.
And he even said, do you want to? And I didn't even really notice this, but he was like, do you want to come with me to look for him? And I said, no, thank you. But I will let you know if I see him. I will not get any contact information. I do not have a cell phone.
Yeah, I've just set up a smoke signal.
Yeah, so I was just like, so I stayed on that side of the lake, and I just walked around until he was gone, and I walked around a little bit longer, and it started getting dark. So then I walked, and I was like, the apartments were on one side, and then like it was like an empty office building on the other, and I was on the side with the empty office building. So if I had like left the fence at that point, I just knew there were two entry points to the fence that I could get in. One was a vent bar by the office buildings, and the other was like a drain. And so I walked all the way around to go to the drain next to the apartments. But yeah, almost got kidnapped.
I hate that.
Wow. Like, that's way more like, this was supposed to be like a joke open, and that was a way more harrowing and earnest. Like, that's horrible. And also, there's like a whole Netflix documentary about a guy that was doing that exact same thing in like New Jersey. in the
Oh.
70s. Like that was
Oh,
his
geez.
whole thing, was like going to public pools and being like, hey, I lost my dog, can you help me find it? And then like scoops the kid and that's it, right?
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want a kid also? Sorry.
That's a fair question. My thing was like, when I got back, I didn't know. I couldn't tell if they were doing anything wrong or they were looking for a dog. And I remember, I think, telling my mom about it, but I don't know. I don't think we ever did anything. So I always was worried, if he ever talked to a kid and ended up getting them to help look for his dog. Hopefully it was like the first time he ever like tried to abduct a kid and he got rejected and he never did it again, is my hope that happened in that situation. No guarantee,
oh my God,
though.
this is another first. First man's confidence that Chelsea totally crushed.
It's such a weird ask too, because like on one hand, I guess you have plausible deniability that it's like, hey, I just asked the kid if they'd seen my dog and if they would help me find them. But yeah,
exactly.
The question is like anyone goes, children not usually known for their innate forest tracking abilities when it comes to like animals, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're asking, oh, hey, it's dearly departed crocodile hunter Steve Irwin. Have you seen my dog? Man who is capable of like finding and understanding animal behaviors.
Yeah.
No, we're talking to what? How old were you? You were like 6?
Yeah. No, well, 11. But that's fine. I lived 6.
11's the new 6.
Very small. I was very small up until like 2 years ago.
Maybe that's what broke it. Is he was like, I think the 6-year-old's gonna be able to come with me, and he was like, no, I think she's 11.
She's real street smart for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, crafty. Thinking double digits for how crafty this potential victim is. I'm gonna get out of here.
Do I not know what kids look like at specific ages?
Oh, I did also have a time where a girl was like, somebody had given me a ride as a child, and I got in the car with them. She was very nice. She let me hold her cell phones. I've made some choices in my life, okay, guys?
Sure. Oh yeah. No,
but she was like, this is a busy road. You shouldn't be crossing it on foot. And I was like, I don't know if crossing it in a car, because you can't go across the road in a car. But you know what? I'll take you up on the offer. That was a little too trusty.
I was in elementary school. I was probably in like 3rd grade, maybe a little younger. Anyway, probably a little younger. My dad, who had a full beard for most of my childhood, had shaved the beard that day and had just a mustache. So he came to pick me up at school, and I refused to go with this man who I did not recognize.
Yeah.
It was like
Smart.
20 minutes of like, I don't know about this guy. This isn't right.
That's
stranger danger on that one.
Yeah, good. God, that's crazy. You didn't recognize your father.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's like my dad had jet black hair, and he had like very thick beard, and and he's a little more olive complected than me, so it's just like it's a very like if you have full like early 80s thick dark hair and a beard, and you go to now 3/4 of your face is showing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have any context for it. Like, I probably didn't even have object permanence. I think I was like 16 months old.
Couldn't even see color yet.
Yeah.
Did your dad look like Mario? Because by your description, I felt like Mario came up.
With the mustache?
I mean, I think that under certain circumstances, it would probably be a thing. And I'm sure that he hated being likened to Mario for both being a plumber in his occupation.
Oh yeah,
and having that mustache. Yeah,
shouldn't have done the mustache.
Wait, was your dad Mario? Not just look like.
Do you have an Uncle Luigi?
Hey, what's your last name? Is it Mario?
It is. It is Mario. Yeah. I changed it to Regolia because it seemed more secular. Wanted to get away
from the organized religion that is
Mario. Is Nintendo character. All right, let's talk about this first ransom note.
Oh, fine. No, this is weird.
It's really weird. So our story sets up that in March of 2013, a school librarian in Philadelphia named Bridget Flynn finds a note in her basement. And the note reads as follows. Mr. Ross, be not uneasy. You son Charlie Brewster, be all writ, we got him. and no powers on earth can deliver out of our hand.
Mm-hmm.
I did my best to read it in the misspelled
that's
and
the
broken
same.
way that it's written.
Yeah,
Great job.
bracket, open bracket, sick, close bracket.
Yeah. Also, bracket, sick with a K,
Ah,
close bracket,
double sick.
double sick. So it turns out that there's a whole stack of letters that they have that
It was like
are believed to be
22 or something.
Yeah,
25?
yeah. that are believed to be the first set of confirmed ransom notes in American history from back in 1874.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
You know
Like,
what? But that's
first of all,
innovative. So good on them.
That's
or
true.
terrible on them. I don't know.
I mean, here's my first note. So they, in one of the notes, it says, "And you'll pay us a big cent too."
Yeah.
And my note was, "Hell yeah, we stand an assertive queen. Ask for what you need." So yeah, innovative.
So this the notes are all addressed to a man named Christian Ross, whose 4-year-old son was kidnapped in the Philadelphia Germantown area. So that's right up the road for me here.
Did you do it?
I did.
Oh shit!
150 years ago.
Solved it.
That was easy. Okay. As always, ahoy. So this librarian goes back, talks to her husband, who's a research consultant at the University of Pennsylvania. So they count up, they got 22 total letters. They're all addressed to this Christian Ross person. And they discover newspaper stuff. I'm assuming a microfiche montage.
Yeah.
Like we're in the stacks of the library. There's students studying. There's students blowing each other. There's a lady shushing. There's a ghost pushing a cart full of books. And then here we got these people are microfishing the night away.
And they have access to like the good stuff, the secret parts of the library, because her husband's a researcher.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They can get into all the nooks and crannies, all the
Yeah,
crevices of the library.
Yeah, little known fact, like libraries all have like true book rooms that most people aren't allowed to go into.
Yeah. That's where like the big book in Neverending Story that like looks like it's gonna crumble. That's where they keep those.
The Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Beautiful.
It's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Those nasal
Page
implants from the
Master.
first X-Files in there.
Yep.
Page Master and Beastmaster both in there.
Book of the Dead. Wait, what's the one from Evil Dead? Is it Book of the Dead?
Necronomicon?
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. That one.
All of our grimoires, etc.
Yeah. The grimmest of wars.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they publish a memoir, or Ross, the dad of this kid, published a memoir about the kidnapping, which is available online. So you can see facsimiles of these letters and things like that. And the librarian's husband, whose last name is Mechaton, had compared the documents with the handwriting on the letters they had and discovered, bum, 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 it's the same handwriting. They have the letters.
Which is crazy. Also, okay, I have a question that is stupid.
We have an answer that's even stupider.
Absolutely.
So I did see the like lost child posters that they made. Those were drawings, not photographs. So when did we have photographs that they are in the dad's book? Or are those drawings too and just really compelling recreations? Like, I don't know when we invented cameras.
Well, we're changing the episode subject. So the first photograph was in 1826.
Okay.
Oh,
But
and this was 1874, so that's feasible.
Yeah, so they could have taken pictures as long as the letter can sit still for like 20 minutes while the metal plate slowly oozes memory and magic, as is my understanding of photography.
That's right. That's correct. Okay, thank you.
So we go back to July 1st of 1874. The two Ross sons are taken from their family front lawn in Germantown, which is northwest of Philadelphia. The kidnappers almost immediately release the 5-year-old Walter with no real reason clear.
Too annoying.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Yeah, probably so. He was probably like, I don't think you're missing a dog at all, mister. And they were like, fuck, this kid's onto us.
Did you see how they like got rid of him though? How they shook this kid? They gave him a quarter and dropped him off at the corner store, and they were like, go in and buy some fireworks. And he was like, sure thing, mister. And went in, and they were like, they like slapped their horse in their carriage and took off like a shot down the street. I embellished toward the end, but the firework thing was real.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, with a quarter, he's buying like a stadium fireworks production amount of fireworks.
Yeah,
too.
How are we just
back in 1874
quarters around when we got to ask for a ransom?
That's a good point.
I think probably what they're doing is like, hey, we got to spend money to make money.
Oh, true.
No.
And if we let this kid blow himself up, we don't have to deal with him.
Fair.
Good point.
Here, kid, go buy an irresponsible amount of fireworks for a 5-year-old.
How do you think that 5-year-old got home? Like, he just came out of the store with like arms full of fireworks and is like,
Where'd they go?
It's too far to walk.
I assume he Looney Tunes style tied himself to a large firework and then lit the wick, and it just sort of launched him back to his house.
Acme. Yep, that's what happened for sure.
Oh, it was 2 days later. A stranger found him and brought him home. Sorry, I'm looking at her.
No, yeah, that's great.
It's saying that they thought they were playing at the neighbor's house. As the day dragged on to the evening, he became concerned and began looking. There was no trace of the boys. Christian placed an ad in the paper. Missing persons issues were handled differently then. He didn't tell his wife, as she was off in Atlantic City recuperating from an illness, so he didn't want to concern her that their children had been kidnapped.
Hi. Did he do it?
You know, he was like, well...
It's a real, like, they'll probably... I mean, look, it's a time when they'll probably turn up. And you really don't want to.
Sure.
Also, let's also kind of figure like she's probably in Atlantic City recovering from hysteria or some other like made up thing. And so
also, have 2 kids. How old was the baby again?
I think just a year younger. I think it was 4 and 5.
4.
From
this article.
Oh, he was 4?
Great. Okay, 4. Yeah, Chelsea has article stuff.
But I don't know how accurate this article is. I can't tell. Lying.
I don't know what babies look like.
Every article I read has had different information. So
well, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Was it?
one of the favorite factoids I had, which was just that like because Philadelphia's police force was only about 30 years old when this happened. Yeah. They had no precedent for investigating a kidnapping. So he goes to Independence Hall where police headquarters is. And they're just like, drunk people probably borrowed them and they'll give them back. Like,
how is that not a problem?
Drunk people abscond with children all the time just as a larf. That's what we do.
They're playing a prank.
So then 3 days later, the first ransom letter arrives at their store in downtown Philly. So you get this note that says, you will have to pay us before you get him from us, and pay us a big cent too. There's the one Kelly was referencing. If you put the cops hunting for him, you is only defeating you own end. This one also riddled with spelling errors. Then 5 days later, a second letter shows up. This is the lever that moved the rock that hides him from you. $20,000. Not $1 less. Impossible. Impossible. You cannot get him without it.
I loved the impossible. It brought such drama to the ransom note. It was like hyphen, impossible, exclamation mark, impossible, exclamation mark. Like,
it really does make it feel kind of fictional, right? Like there's almost like it's almost a little overwritten at this point. Like, wait, do they even have him? This kind of does come back to like a John Benet Ramsey thing where it's like, did they already kill the kid? And now they're just really trying to figure something out and they need to make it sound more dramatic because they legit don't know what to do.
Well, and especially this is the lever that moved the rock. You're immediately like, Jesus, like that kid's dead. I don't think he's coming back in 3 days.
Plus, $20,000 was $400,000 worth of money. That's a lot to ask.
Yep. And they didn't have a lot of money then because he lost his money in the crash of 18.
Yeah. Yeah, that big 18 crash that happened that we're all very familiar with. 18 murmur.
Quick cue about that. We don't know the date. This is horrible speculation.
I was like, are you going to ask me to clarify?
Well, no, I was just going to say that this is like during Reformation. So,
yeah.
Which kind of crash do we think caused that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably that one. Probably that one.
Capitalism crashes all the time. We just only highlight the times when it crashes so bad that it hurts rich people, historically. I'm serious. That's how it's written.
No, I mean, you're right. You're right.
In 50 years, nobody's going to be talking about 2009 or about the last 2 years. They're just going to be like, there was that Great Depression, though. Woo! What a great one.
Okay, while we were riffing, I had to look up how much, speaking of JonBenet Ramsey, I had to look up what that ransom note was. $20. It was significantly less. It was $118,000.
Wow.
That's kind of specific.
So that's part of the JonBenet Ramsey conspiracy is how specific it was. That's a different episode.
Okay. The first time Chelsea learns more about JonBenet Ramsey will be this.
Ooh, that is a great subgenre of this podcast. The first time any of us learns about something is a really good way to just make up a little ground when we feel like it.
Yeah.
So Ross shows these letters to the police. And the police are like, oh, shit, I guess we better do something. Doop, doop, doodly, doop, doop, doodly, doop, doop, doop. And they tell him, don't pay the guy, because that's just going to inspire other people to do the same thing. And then they put handbills all over Philadelphia, all the way to Trenton. So we're talking Philadelphia to Western New Jersey. We're really covering a lot of ground about the kid's disappearance. So the press finds out. And a bunch of concerned parents who are also worried demand that the letters be released because they want to know what's going on. We're having a genuine public panic, freak out, not seen until the Satanic Panic again, really, or the Son of Sam kind of situation. Like everybody's just, fuck, you got to tell us. You got to tell us about this because this happened to one person one time, but it scares me so much that everyone has to know so we can all be scared.
I mean, this was a national story, right? Like, people were, first American ransom note, people were like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
They were like, what? Really? So who takes it? It's what you said earlier. Who wants to take a kid?
For a child?
Yeah.
What good is it? Like, just leave him there. Just gonna pick his nose. What are you gonna do with him?
That's why they left the other one. They were like, oh, he's so sticky.
So the authorities refused to publish the letters, but on July 24th of that year, the mayor's office announces that they're going to post a $20,000 reward for information leading to the kidnappers, which, again, huge amount of money. Where is this money coming from?
Yeah.
Well, this was like a really rich neighborhood, and it was, but this couple, like you said, Chelsea, they had lost their money, and
in the Panic of 1873.
Thank you.
Yeah. There it is.
Oh, just the year before. That explains how they're still in that house. Yeah, so they just got targeted because their house was big and but their bank account wasn't.
Fucking wet bandits came into town because they were like, rich neighborhood.
Yep. But this part was so like, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Like parents panicking over this, authorities withholding information, a bunch of conspiracy theorists and cranks and private detectives come out of the woodwork as spiritualists are there. I was like, we've got the psychics. Like some guy wrote a song about it. He was Eric Claptoning all over the place. Like, damn, this could have happened. Like, when did this happen? Was it yesterday or was it 100 years ago?
And in early August, the chief of the Philadelphia police led a search of every building in the city.
Every building.
Now, I think all of us were subjected to some form of a locker search at some point during school, maybe. I don't know. We had at least one locker search when I was in high school, which was more limited than the whole place. But imagine that somebody, like, a guy comes and is like, hey, you got a kid in there? Show me.
Prove it.
Oh, that's not
Turn
the
out
one.
your
Okay,
wallet.
cool.
Do your
see you
pockets.
later. Because this is a national story, the police in New York receive a lead, a seasoned criminal named Gil Mosher, who is, quote, now this comes from the article, so this is not my emphasis, quote, greedy for the reward, told Superintendent George Walling that his brother William and a friend of theirs named Joseph Douglas fit the descriptions of the kidnappers and would have probably been the ones who did it. Mosher's brother-in-law is also a former NYPD officer who had been fired for crime. And so basically the chief of police was like, hey, look, we'll give you your job back if you help us connect to these other knuckleheads that you know who probably kidnapped the kid. So what a tangled web we weave.
God, the NYPD has always sucked.
I mean, what it proves is that, yeah, there is a legacy, like all crime solving involves some form of impropriety, because like there's not actually a way to do it, to like prevent or address any of these things without somehow negotiating with people who are gnarly.
It wasn't really the I'll give you your job back, although it kind of was. You're forgiving whatever. Whatever. ACAB. Hashtag ACAB.
This guy then starts acting as a double agent. So he's informing the kidnappers of the police and vice versa.
Yeah.
He's playing both sides.
He's one of those bad apples.
Yeah. Oh man, got a barrel full of stank now. So the New York and Philly police search for this guy for months, during which time 23 letters get written. Christian Ross's memoir contains the text of all the letters except for the fifth letter. And we don't know anything about that because that fifth letter was not in the Flynn basement collection either.
What's in that letter?
One wonders if there are, see, this is where conspiracy theories come from, right? Like, were there super specific details in that letter that no one wants to know about?
Or was it like a fit of rage, throw it in the fire, I miss my son so bad? Like, what happened to that letter?
Yeah. Or did he sign his own name at the bottom and go, fuck, these aren't going to work now.
Out.
Yeah.
Letter 6. He's gotta remain consistent. He's like, well, I wrote letter 5, even if I didn't mail it.
So by December of 1874, those two main primary suspects die of gunshot wounds after a failed robbery attempt in Long Island. And one of them, Douglas, confesses that he and Mosher had kidnapped Charley Ross. And then he died before he had a chance to say anything else about it.
They would like give him back, right? They were like, he's fine and we'll give him back.
Yeah, he did say something. Or, I don't know, the reports are weird. It sounds like he was slowly dying for like 2 hours in this, and like talking to this guy that he was trying to rob, I guess. But in the aftermath, everybody was like, there was a robbery. They are dead now. And nobody like got clear statements about what he was saying about the kidnapping. So I don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah, it's a real, I mean, and what? Because we don't have body cam footage. We don't have any sort of real record. So it's sort of like, well, the people who were there were witnesses and said that he said this thing and he died. Yeah. So we don't really know for certain what went down, because it is weird.
I just like to think that Charlie's still
Yeah. I mean, he would be well over 100 years old.
Yeah. He's immortal now after being kidnapped. That is the fountain of youth.
He's a little Highlander.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cute.
Or maybe he's dead.
Or he lived a very long, beautiful life.
Yeah.
Is what I would want to say.
Let's go with that.
Maybe it was just, okay. Maybe they were just like, you know what? Maybe we just raise this kid with love and we give him a happy home. Maybe it was a happier scenario than his father. Maybe Walter ended up having a terrible time. I don't know.
Maybe.
I like to imagine it like a Pixar movie, you know?
Yeah. Up. He just got to go up.
But it's just the kid and not the parents who keep having miscarriages. It's the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
More like down, am I right? Shit.
They lived a life of adventure. It's only sad if you let it be.
Officially, no one ever figured it out. A grand jury ended up convicting William Westerfelt, the cop, for complicity in the kidnapping, and he served 7 years in Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia.
Ooh, oh no, that's a bad one.
Probably.
It is.
Is it?
I read a lot of true crime and also haunted things.
Great.
And that's one of the places where they intersect. Actually, hold on. Eastern State. No. Never mind.
I feel like Eastern State is a uniquely named penitentiary where you could be like, oh yeah, I go to Eastern State.
Yeah, well, yeah. You can still do ghost tours there, by the way.
Ooh, we should do that. Yeah. Come out here. Come out here. We'll go into Germantown. We'll find these letters,
Wonderful.
and then we'll go to Eastern State.
Yes.
Perfect.
First field trip.
Yeah, this is a good idea. This is a really good idea. So officially, Charley Ross never returned home. That is the official story.
Yeah.
But never returned home is what the story is, which does not preclude a life of adventure.
True.
Or something else. Could have done anything. Lots of things don't return home, right?
Oh yeah, me, for example.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any I don't know, brain empty, of any like famous explorers around that time. Like, were we done with the West? Not yet.
No, it was kind of in that you would have been on the latter sort of the death knell of the Wild West is happening by the 1880s. It's sort of like, okay, the cowboy thing is wearing thin.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Things are going to get a little more normalized and corporatized and all that.
But the Yukon could have gone to Canada.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, well.
And then we'd never know because you go to Canada, you're as good as dead.
Yeah, records can't come back across the border. Everybody knows that. There were so many people who claimed to be him, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
We had just dozens upon dozens of people, apparently. And yeah, there were 5 remaining Ross children, so it's not like they were real. Like, sure, they were hurt, but they were like, let's just replace it.
We'll make 4 more. Hurt, you know?
Yeah. Christian Ross dies in 1897 at age 73. His wife Sarah in 1912 at age 79.
So whenever we're talking about like them having a 6, like so many children after that, like is it you lose children at that time because they didn't have good medical, right? Is that right? Like people lost children at young ages pretty consistently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So was it like?
I wonder how different it is, or whether it is really different. I mean, I'm sure it's like it's still horrible, but it's also kind of like, yeah.
So, because that's what I always, whenever I read about people having lots of children, it's so they can have more workers on their farm.
Yeah, you need the labor, but still, I think that, I mean, you know, infant and mother mortality weren't great then and are declining in America today. So
tragically horrible right now.
Happy news.
Yay.
Well, I had a thought and then I bummed myself out and pushed it right out of my brain.
For what it's worth, it does say that both Christian and Sarah spent the rest of their lives and their money looking for their son. So it's not like they full on abandoned him, though they did have additional children.
And they spent 3 times as much as the ransom looking for him.
Aww.
So, yeah, I don't think that they did it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think they did it either.
Or if they did, it wasn't about money.
Yeah.
I feel like it's likely that the people who confessed did do it and that they probably just meant to kidnap him and then killed him. It's probably what happened. It seems like, you know, you would just do something stupid. You'd be drunken, bank robbing louts and smack a kid too hard or something and then realize like, oh, shoot, well, this is screwed up. Maybe we can still get money out of the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering just like what the conversation between the 2 kidnappers were like, let's write him a note. Like, how did that conversation
write him a note?
Like, I have an idea. Like, did one of them be like, I have an idea. Let's write a note.
And then
neither of us are good at this, but let's try it.
Do you think that they were like, well, your handwriting's nicer, you should do it? Also, the description was like, and they wrote this letter in a shaky hand That handwriting is beautiful.
It is
That's like
really nice.
calligraphy.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you were
Oh.
taught like penmanship in school back then, right? So like even if you went through elementary school before you dropped out to become a lout, you were you were you were provided those basic skills.
I mean, ostensibly, I went through that as well. I learned cursive.
Oh yeah, and we don't do that shit anymore.
No.
Although, what's more satisfying than writing like a cursive L now and again?
I could do lowercase, uppercase. Can't remember which way the loop goes.
Oh man,
That's fair.
it's beautiful.
Nate knows.
It's beautiful.
Nate
You get to make swoosh noises while you do
I
it
was
too.
like, I'm getting it crossed with an S. I'm
No,
struggling.
I'm just gonna do.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just gonna
thank
do
you.
print. I'm just gonna do print.
Just do that S that you wrote in your notebook, where you draw 3 vertical lines and 3 vertical lines below
The
it,
cool
and then you
S.
make yeah.
Yeah, I change
Yes.
every letter to S for that. Anytime I write somebody a nice note, it's just.
Did a snake write this ransom note? The next high-profile ransom kidnapping doesn't happen until 1900. After this, Edward
Damn.
Cudahy Jr. is the, I believe, the kidnapping victim. I didn't take a good note on that. Now, while
Kidnapper or E.
now, so this is reverberant culturally because in 1936, at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, the newspaper columnist H.L. Mencken writes that a prank is played when everyone's waiting for FDR to come out on stage, where someone gets on the PA and says continually that they are basically asking Charles Ross to come to the press area.
Oh.
Wouldn't it be crazy if he did? He was like,
Right?
hey,
It's like, oh, hey, I'm here.
yeah,
More of a
nobody calls
Coolidge
me
guy,
that
but
anymore.
there's also a rumor that's unsubstantiated, but I kind of like the idea that don't take candy from strangers might have come from this. Like
They
that.
did.
Oh.
Like when they cased the joint, they kept giving the kids candy to like familiarize themselves. Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
I was like, oh no.
it's
Oh,
real
no,
simple.
It's real. It's true.
What do kids like? They like candy. Well, let's just give them candy until they come with us.
I mean, effective.
They thought I liked puppies. So.
Hmm.
See? Cute things.
See, it's harder to deliver on that.
It's true.
You can't be like, oh, I've got one in my pocket, right? Like, you have to
I
be
mean, if
like,
he did, I would have been like, puppy, yes, okay, let me hang out with the puppy. Oh no, I'm giving them tips. Oh no.
no.
That's all right. This is a comedy podcast. Nothing we say here has any real impact on the world. There's also something called the Charley Ross Project, which is a major missing persons database that is named for him.
Oh.
I was wondering about that because whenever I was dispatching, I've never heard of that, but there is the Morgan Nick alert, I think is that what it's called? The girl who was abducted in Oklahoma, Arkansas. She was abducted like in the early 90s, and that is like the main alert that's used for missing children. But I've never heard of the Charley Project, and I had to do a lot of missing person database searches.
Yeah, because I know of Amber Alerts being a
Mhm.
thing that is also named for a girl named Amber.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really interesting because for a long time, until I understood that it was actually named for a kid, I thought it was like the color amber. Like that's
I
weird,
did too.
you know?
Oh,
But that's also
cool.
probably because we grew up in the post 9/11 hellscape that was like a different color will declare how in danger you are. And you're like, oh, well,
my
amber,
God.
that seems warm and relatively not terrible.
Oh,
Why are they associating that with a kid being abducted?
You know what I always thought of though? When I thought it was I guess maybe I didn't think it was the color. I thought it was the substance. Like I thought that it was like amber, like the mosquitoes, Jurassic Park. And I was like,
no.
it's a weird way.
Did you think 311 was involved?
Oh, yeah. What's that song?
Amber is the
Oh,
color
I
of your
didn't sing
I
energy.
was like, the band? Are we talking
Whoa,
about the band?
whoa. Oh, amber is the color of energy.
There it is. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great. It's classic.
Might be able to clear the rights on this one. I just want to talk about one of the guys who said that he was, I've already forgotten his name.
Is it
The baby,
Gustav?
Charlie. Again?
Gustav Blair.
Yeah, Gustav Blair came forward and was like, I'm him. And the family was like, no, you're not. But then a court was like, fine, you're him. So legally, he was. And then later, the family had his DNA tested against his actual siblings. And it was like a 99.9% match. Like, undeniably, he is their blood relative. So it was a lie. But crazy. How do you just like go to a court and be like, I'm that person?
I would like to do that for a lot of things. Like,
Sure.
I mean, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you just want to be like, no, I'm Bill Walmart. Like, give me the money.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bill Walmart.
Yeah.
It's me, Bill Walmart.
It's a me. You're slipping into your Mario heritage.
It's me, a Bill Walmart. Oh. This is an interesting tidbit. So Charlie's grandnephew, Chris Ross, is a 9-term Pennsylvania state representative.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as he says, the family has no knowledge of any of those papers dating back to Christian Ross existed. So like, no, like it never got down the line. Now,
Weird.
what I'm wondering is, I mean, so conspiracy concept one is that, yeah, maybe Charlie did just escape and he lived in that basement. He took all the notes as proof that he had been kidnapped, and he went and hid in that basement, and he basically lived like what's the Justin Long movie that we all watched?
Barbarian.
Yeah, maybe he lived like a barbarian, just underground for the rest of his life, thinking that one day he would emerge, but realizing like, oh, I actually like it better down here.
Yeah, wait, we should be looking into like haunted stories in the area, not
Yeah.
adventurers. We need to see what the folklore is. What are the urban legends? Who is our Boo Radley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got a new angle for you.
Yep.
PIs.
We're gonna solve it. We're gonna
solve it. I think we're gonna solve it.
Maybe by the end of the podcast.
Honestly.
It's true. I think we're really almost there.
I've got a map behind me.
It's your murder
lot of
board with
yarn.
all the red string. Yeah.
In 1875, Pennsylvania becomes the first state to change the crime of kidnapping from a misdemeanor to a felony. They're like,
How
hey,
is that a misdemeanor? Sorry.
Because the police were just like, it's probably just drunks. They're going to take the
Stealing
kids and they're
kids
going to
is
sober up
fine.
and bring the kids back because they think this is funny and they wouldn't dare do anything to the kids while they're drunk. I mean, we wouldn't imagine that happening. So it'll sort itself out.
So is it weirdly a better time or a time when people didn't talk about stuff? What is happening?
No.
What world is this?
Chelsea, I think you hit something very important on the head, which is, yeah, I think it's a time where people don't talk about the stuff that
No.
happens. Like, I don't think that, like, I think the idea that we have become fundamentally more corrupted over time is kind of a false flag that leads to authoritarianism. The idea that somehow, like, oh, people are more troublesome now, so we have to put our boot on their necks harder to keep them in line. No, people used to do all sorts of horrible shit. Like, those drunks almost certainly, like, raped those kids.
Good. Yeah.
And then bring them back.
And that was
And they're like, whoops, I'm
generation,
sobered
right?
up. You get
Wait,
out of
no.
here.
It was before Silent Generation, right? I'm trying to think of like what it produced. Would that have been? No, that would have been later. They're like 1930s, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because it would have been, I guess Silent, Forgotten, wait.
Is the Forgotten before the Silent or the Forgotten?
I think Silent and then Lost Generation is after World War One, and then Greatest is after during World War Two.
Yeah.
It gets real weird in there. So yeah, maybe it is Silent Generation or Lost Generation people. But I think the point is it's like our sense of how safe communities was shaken by the fact that these things became more evidently public, and it became more clear that the machinations that we had designed were actually not capable of preventing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, having a police force doesn't actually prevent these things from happening. It
No.
really only deters
Nothing
people who wouldn't have
prevents
done it
crime,
anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I think it's also like not just that the stories are more prevalent, but that we get to spy on each other's behavior more prevalently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, when I was a kid, even, and now I did have negligent parents, so maybe this is not an appropriate anecdote, but it was sort of like, get out of the house and come back when the sun comes down, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I was a free range.
Same.
I mean, I had to be at the house to babysit, but my siblings were free range. So like, and kids don't get that anymore, even though kidnapping and crime rates are significantly lower. So
Oh yeah.
and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
part of that is like, well, did you see that Susan up the street let the kids out? Like, I think that it's some of that.
Yeah, because the kind of surveillance nature of things, the overcorrection of
Yeah.
a couple of
Yeah.
because really we're talking about one major kidnapping and ransom note.
Right.
And it takes 25 full years before another one reaches that point. Now, some of that, yeah, okay, maybe some of that is like nobody in the media wants to pick it up. But at the same time, knowing how media works,
Mhm.
if it had happened, it would have been picked up, right? It's not like somebody's going to be like, no, that's not a significant enough ransom note for me to cover 2 years later. Like, they'd be like, oh, shit, it's an epidemic of ransom notes. Like, it
Right.
would have been in the news. So it appears that, yeah, it's just this constant ratcheting of fear of the unknown and fear of neighbor and everything else. And all these things are built in together, right? The reason why gun sales are up all the time is because
Ugh.
we're constantly told to be afraid of each other.
Yeah.
And or afraid of losing access to guns, which is a whole other. This is not a podcast about that.
Later episode. First
Hashtag
episode, we
hate.
talk a lot
Yeah.
about guns.
Yeah, but this goes into Stranger Danger and Dungeons and Dragons and Satanic Panic and all these other things
yeah.
that directly impacted our lives, right? Where like I mean, I grew up very rural, so I could kind of like go do whatever. But I also didn't really have anybody to go to. So it was like you would ride your bike up a dirt road
Keep
for
going. Yeah.
several blocks, and then you would get to your one friend who lived in the neighborhood's house, and you could go run around the 5 acres or whatever, and then that was it. And
Yeah,
like
exactly.
occasionally you'd see a bear or something terrifying, but you wouldn't like there was never an evil duo of drunks who were like, hey, come here.
I mean, no, I had those too. I just didn't go with them.
Well, sure.
We didn't have bears though. We had wild boars. Do you remember that wild boar tweet that went viral
Oh yeah.
a while
Yeah.
back?
That was also
When
that was a pro gun situation, right? Everybody was
Yeah,
like,
it
we need our
was.
guns to shoot these wild boars.
It was, but I remember when it came out being like, yeah, no, wild boars. Like people are acting like that doesn't happen. That happens. I think that I'm like remembering it wrong. I bet probably it was like one neighbor with a pot-belly pig who sometimes was in the backyard. Like I bet that I have this all twisted around, but whatever. Wild boars.
So these letters get off. The letters go for $20,000.
What are the chances? Like,
Isn't that wild?
that's
Like
crazy.
that's a cheeky auctioneer, right? Like you're not. I mean, I guess it's an auction, so it's got to get to 20,000. But the fact that
Yeah.
everybody like dips out when it hits 20,000, like only one person is willing to be either has deep enough pockets or is willing
Right.
to be sort of that on the nose. Maybe there's like a secret like auction vibe where it's just like, oh man, that person's gross. You
That was my
never
question.
buy the letter for the for the ransom.
Oh, you
Yeah.
you're saying they think he's hack.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
It's gauche.
Yeah. I wondered, the person who won wished to remain anonymous. I bet you can find out if you look hard enough. I didn't. Said they did it in like the name of preservation. Like I want to give this to I want to loan it out to the local museum or whatever. That was like a true crime obsessed fanatic, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I think
I mean-
that this was somebody with like a weird collection of like, I bet when you go to their house, you're like, now how many John Wayne Gacy paintings did you say you had? Like,
Right.
I don't know about them.
Yeah, it's also that kind of like preservation of your family legacy as kidnappers, you mean?
Oh
Bum,
shit.
bum, bum.
Oh shit. Or, oh my God, maybe Chelsea's thing is right and this is Charlie. He's still
there
alive.
you go. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
fuck,
got the
guys.
Holy Grail.
He's got the Holy Grail.
He can go out one day a year into the world. He buys stuff that reminds him of his kidnapping, goes back, continues living forever.
The end of this story is him at the auction house. He gets it. You only see the back of his head. And then he walks out smiling and he puts on sunglasses. But you don't see his full face. But that's him. And you just feel that that's him.
You can tell.
And there's a song that plays as he's walking out. Like, I don't know what song it is, but it's the one that people download after watching the movie.
It's that song that guy wrote about, it was called Bring Back Our Darling, when he was kidnapped.
Oh, perfect. And
he's like, I'm back, baby. Oh, when you started describing that, Chelsea, and you like started to mime sunglasses, I imagined the baby face from the Flyers still on his adult human body.
Mm-hmm. He still has a little curl right here. It's just that's what gives him away, is the little curl.
The little curl.
Yeah.
He takes off his trench coat and he's still dressed like it's 1870, like he's a baby in 1874. With like frills.
It's like it's a christening gown, I think. It is what it looks like, right? Doesn't it?
See, this is what I'm talking about, urban legends. We got to go out there, find out what the stories are.
We got 3 kidnapped kids in a trench coat buying stuff at auctions.
Yeah. Oh my God, the older brother, the one who didn't get kidnapped, he had to identify the bodies of the guys who died in the shooting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just asking a little kid.
Yeah, and it's just like a Stand By Me moment. They're just like, "Hey kid, you want to see a body?" And he's like,
"Yeah." And then
this is
like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
Bye. If I tell you that this is him, do I have to come back?
Right?
This is him.
The answer is still yes.
Him.
Because the police at that time are like, "We would also like to kidnap you. This is actually kind of fun."
And you're like, "Okay."
Usually I just got to write parking tickets for horses. It's gross. I get poop everywhere.
Gonna have a quarter for fireworks.
Yeah. That's my toll. Actually, inflation. 2 quarters, baby.
Oh, shit. What, are you going to buy the whole store?
Yes.
I think it's time for the MouthGarf Report.
The MouthGarf Report. Open wide.
Yay.
Oh. I forgot until just this moment that I have a horrible story to tell you.
Ooh.
Guys, are you sitting down?
No, but just a second. Okay. Foley work.
Yeah, good. You've got to sit down 2 times for the story. Oh my God, you're going to hate it.
Lean back?
Okay. So, the other night, how do I want to start this story? So the other night I went in to put in my mouth guard, right? Bedtime, brush my teeth, go to grab my mouth guard, and I see blood pooled in the bottom of my top retainer. And I was like, oh, goddamn, have I been like that inconsistent lately? Because when I first started wearing the Invisalign, there was one morning where I like logged on to work, hadn't like taken them out yet for my before my first meeting, and I smile on Zoom and I can see blood in them because like straightening my teeth, I don't know, was disruptive. And so I thought that that's what happened, and I was like, what? Like, how did I not notice it this morning when I took them out? So I pick it up, and I have had an earwig infestation at the house. What? There was a fucking earwig in my goddamned retainer.
No.
Oh my God.
And so I texted the 2 of you instantly, like hadn't cleaned it yet, was just staring at it in horror. And I was like, I have something for the next MouthGarf Report. Like,
so there wasn't blood. There was just an earwig that is
just an earwig, like
nestled. And I'm not saying just an earwig.
Blood. They look like little. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Like I cleaned it. I tried, but I can't. I know what it's seen. I can't put that in my mouth. I'm like sweaty. My heart rate is up just thinking about it, just telling you this story.
Earwigs are one of the most...
Why do they look like that?
Disconcerting insects, right?
Why are they like
you
that.
got head pincers, you got butt pincers.
Why the butt pincers?
You got this wriggly
Ugh.
millipedic action going on. Yeah, no thanks.
It's like
I mean,
it's like a silverfish, like a dark silverfish.
Oh God.
Like if there was one that was good and one that was bad, but they're both not good, right?
They're both
Silverfish
not
are bad.
good. So I'm just
That's a nightmare.
yes.
could
thank
you maybe like soak it in
I've
like
done it. I've
peroxide?
soaked it in everything.
God, that's horrible.
I'm just gonna have to pay for a new one. Like I'm just gonna have to go to the dentist and be like, I know insurance won't cover it, but
But
or
there's
I'll
an
just let my
earwig.
teeth get crooked again.
Maybe
Whatever.
they'll
It was
be
an
like,
experience, and I don't need
earwig.
to.
I'll give
Yeah.
maybe they'll give it to you for free. Just explain the situation.
Listen.
Just explain the situation. Some
Dr.
people will
Ullman.
take pity on you.
Yeah, sorry. I figured I'd go first so you guys could turn it
That's
around.
smart. I don't know if I can.
I have been, possibly to my discredit, we talked about how the Garf would come to me, would find me.
Yeah.
I have been making myself open
Mm-hmm.
to the universe to present a Garf.
That's the first step.
I have not yet received
You gotta
Garf.
give it time.
Um,
It's okay.
But you
Yeah,
know, I got like excited about that like alarm clock that I think that we all saw. That's
Yeah.
really cool. I was like, oh, that would be great if that, but no, there's just not. Like I just need a Garf. I just need a Garf to come. So
Mhm.
It's gonna feel right, and there's no deadline.
yeah, listeners in the traditional style of televangelism, I'd like you to send in $25 so that we can pray
Garf
together that
appropriate?
Garf will present
Oh.
itself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And buy Cadillacs.
And yeah. Garfilax.
Oh,
Cat-
that sounds like a
Cattle Garf? Yeah,
medication.
Garfilax
Yeah.
is the thing that you give Garfield after he's had too much cheese from lasagna.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to get him moving again.
Yep. Sorry,
Okay.
Garf.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's bug stuff, right? Like I got bug stuff because
Okay, I have bug stuff too. We all maybe this will be
yeah.
a
We're
partial bug episode.
gonna do a little bug
I want to
stuff.
hear about your bugs.
It's not just Kelly. You're not the only person who's getting bugged out here.
Bug report.
Mouth bug report. Yeah, because of where we are and it's like more humid and everything, we occasionally get they are technically a type of cockroach, but they're just like an individual large beetle that will occasionally appear, and they're almost like
Yeah.
just sort of, oh, there's one in like the back bathroom downstairs, or like the other day Magnolia found one that was like under one of the like sideboard things and was just like fucking with it. So I went over there to be like, what are you doing? And of course it's like, oh, disgusting. Don't fuck with that. I don't want you to do that. But otherwise, she does adorable things like, let's say like a sugar ant is walking across the floor. She'll walk over and just like lick it up. And then that's it. She's like, yum.
Okay. I didn't know what
Yum.
a sugar ant was. And I was like, is that like a sugar daddy,
Is it
but
just a normal
removed a little
Yeah.
bit? Is
Oh.
that
It's a
what
sugar
it
uncle's wife. Yeah.
is? Okay, that makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah.
I like
We have cicadas that have risen. Now, this isn't a big
Yeah.
cicada year because it's every 7 years that there's a real
Mhm.
big deal, but we had a few come out. So I have seen a few of them like hanging around, including one that was on, we have like little wood retaining walls around sort of the center sitting area. Look, you're gonna have to come out here and visit. We're gonna do a podcast in the backyard. It's gonna be a blast.
bonfire. We're
Um,
gonna do our first
yeah.
bonfire.
Yeah, we
Yay!
totally can. I want to get a fire pit for it, and it would be perfect for that. It is designed to sit around a fire pit.
Perfect.
So now we had just the other day, I found a little cicada husk that was just sort
yeah,
of
I love
clinging
those.
to the wall,
Oh.
and just a little bit up on the lawn, a hole about a half an inch in diameter, because cicadas burrow. And then they
Yeah.
dig out and they go, okay, I'm ready to fly. So then they climb over here and then they're like, okay, blah, and then they pop out and fly around. So it's fun. Bugs are interesting.
Did you ever like put the cicada exoskeleton on your clothes? You just pop them. No one in school, and you just. I was a weird kid. It's fine.
No, I mean, I was trying to show it to my wife and she was
I
not
did-
having that. I was
Oh,
like,
Well,
you're
when
still doing
look,
it.
he's got little
Yeah.
other.
Okay.
Ooh, I have a lot of bug news. The other day I saw a very bright
Great.
green praying mantis on our
Do you
little
have a
front
picture?
ivy.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
If you
I
could
do
send
have
it
a
to the group
picture.
chat, that would be
I
appreciated.
will. I will do that.
This
I will
bitch
do that.
loves bugs. Kelly
It-
knows this.
I do.
last year we had two that came to live on our back porch. Both of them were like kind of a sandy brown color, which I hadn't really seen ever. I mean, I've only seen so many praying mantises because they're rare in Colorado and here they're prevalent. But this one definitely had a male caller visit because I watched it huddle and gestate and get huge. And then one day it just wasn't around anymore. And then recently on our porch, I saw the tiniest, like literally like a 3/4 inch praying mantis. So wherever she laid them babies, they came running around. It was really cute. I didn't get a chance to take a picture of it, but it was adorable. Yeah. Good praying mantis stuff. And what was that? I had one more bug thing. I don't remember. Never mind. It's okay. It'll come back to me.
I'll start talking about my mouth guard stuff and then my bug stuff. But if you remember your bug thing, then please interrupt me because I would love to hear about it.
She loves she loves a bug.
It's true. I do love a bug. Spiders, not so much. I do. We'll talk about that on a different date.
Yeah, that's a whole
my
thing.
mouth guard. I traveled recently. The last week I was gone. That's why we couldn't record. And I did not get to. So I've been using that, like my circle buzz cleaner. And I was like, and I was like, it's fine. I'll just go ahead and do what I've been doing where I brush it with like mouthwash. It should be fine. Oh my God. I can't. Once you go to something else that you can't, like, I was like, why does this smell like metal? This is awful. Why does it still smell? Even though I even like had to soak it in mouthwash, and I was like, this is still terrible. It also could be because I haven't gotten I haven't done my mold. I've gotten the Remy stuff. I haven't done my mold. You guys know me. I am not good at doing stuff when I receive it. They're going to send me another one in like a month, and I'm going to be like, well, I'm sorry. Or they're going to charge me as if I had one. We'll find out what happens. But yeah, I was shocked. So still recommend getting one of those little ball cleaners because they are so good. And my retainer doesn't smell bad, which it's really hard to get bad smells out of them. And my bug news is very gross. So hopefully it'll be like in between the two. We have like a little bit of a fruit fly infestation. 100% my fault from having a bunch of fruit out.
Yeah.
And I went down to go wash some dishes. I was scrubbing the dishes, and then I looked over at where my sponge was, and there was just a bunch of maggots. And then I looked at the sponge I was using, and it was
oh no.
So yeah, I put that in a Ziploc bag and put it in the trash. But yeah, I have a little bit of a maggot infestation. Thank you very much.
We're fucking going through it with the bugs, dude.
Yeah, we are. It's bug time, guys. Which your bug stories have been delightful.
Yeah, you've got
Kelly, I never want to hear about earwigs again. I'm going to be honest with you. Those are bugs that I'm okay with not
also don't want to hear about them again.
Yeah, no thanks. Absolute best part of summer on the East
Lighting
Coast.
bugs?
Walking
bugs.
home and seeing fireflies. Absolutely.
So
yes.
It's the best part.
Jenny and I went to Delaware Shakespeare Company did Macbeth. And it's this outdoor performance thing. So they do a very like interesting, progressive performance of Macbeth. Super cool show. We're walking back. It's all done in like, it's just out in these like near the woods fields that are just north of town.
So did
here.
the witches look like real cool? Like out
the witches,
all these fireflies?
Yeah, it was badass. And as we're walking out, like you just have fireflies are just rising up in the woods and everything. And even over the last couple of weeks, like I'll go walk to her work just to walk her back if it's after dark. And you're just walking back through town and it's like fireflies.
I love that.
It's glorious. It is such a cool thing. And so I've been trying to figure out what I need to do is do a little bit of research about what sorts of plants and bushes to plant to sort of invite them. Because I would like our yard to just explode with fireflies every summer. Yeah. I want to walk out there and it's like little glowy bugs everywhere.
Oh.
Like, that would be so cool.
I'm so jealous. We don't have them here. Chelsea, you have them in Arkansas.
I do. I haven't seen them recently because there have been storms.
They were one of the most exciting parts about visiting my grandparents out this way when I was a kid. It was like, whoa, what? Those are real? Because if you've never seen them as a child, they are absolutely magical, and they still are.
Yeah, no, I grew up with them, and like I don't know. There are two things I miss about living in the South. One, how golden the motherfucking light is in the fall. And two,
Yeah.
lightning bugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lightning bugs are the best. I would catch them and put them in a little, and then you have a little lantern that you carry around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then if you're evil, you squish their butts.
Never. I never would.
I never did.
They're not as prolific as they once were also. So it's like, we got to keep these guys alive and fucking, because I want more lightning bugs.
Yeah, more. How do we lure them into our yards with plants? What's the aphrodisiac for?
I'm going to play
fireflies?
Marvin Gaye with the bush.
Yeah.
Smart.
I assume that's what they're into.
Yeah,
Let's light it up.
Yeah.
Another generation of us.
Let's light it up.
Beautiful.
Let's light, baby. That was the mouth bug report.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for a game?
Yes.
Oh,
we are
wait.
out of practice. Let's
Oh,
see how
boy.
this goes.
This is gonna take like 40 minutes.
This is all going to
We can
be
do this.
kidnapping, ransom related,
Okay.
because it's
Hold
time
on,
to
let me-
play. I see what you did there.
Woo!
Yay!
I'm pouring another wine so that I have, I don't know, I guess fortitude.
Yeah.
Courage.
The
Yeah,
wine is
it's my,
fortified so that you can be fortified.
Oh, you know, I should have fortified it. Anyway, okay.
Okay. This is number one. Number one. This indie Jim Caviezel human trafficking flick was the surprise hit of summer 2023. And this is the full name of Vin Diesel's character in the Fast and the Furious series.
I don't know. Are you trying? Do I need his last name?
Yes, I would like his
Fine.
last name.
Sound of Free Dom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's his first name. Okay,
And
okay,
don't
I
know
see what
his
we're
last
doing.
Name. Dom Furious.
Too fast. Dumb Tokyo Drift. Dumb Family. Dumb
Ooh.
Brotherhood. Dumb Gone in 60 Seconds. Wait, that's a different. Hold on.
Both cars.
Domingo.
Oh.
You're close. It's another drama.
Dominguez.
Domino.
Okay, are you saying the last name is it Dom something, or is it Dom and then it starts with like an A?
Well, first
Alvarez?
his full first name is Dominic. So
Okay.
Dominic.
Okay,
and
so
then
Free Dominic. There we go. Got
yeah,
it. We're
I
done.
don't know how you're gonna get his last name. So I'm just gonna give it to you because it's
Oh.
Toretto. His last name is Toretto. My brain's been churning for like, how can I get this
Yeah.
without weird?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't look. This would have only become worse if I tried to break
Yes.
down the last name Toretto into it
No,
sounds like this.
But I
I
want to hear
see.
you try.
No.
Oh.
No, you don't.
We'll take it off air. We'll do it.
So yeah, sound of Free Dominic Toretto
Okay.
is the you see what I did there. Great. Oh, how weird. That Sound of Freedom movie.
Did you see? Okay.
But they're not actually, people aren't going to it.
No, but companies like I don't know, whoever has the agenda that aligns with it are scooping up all the tickets just like they do with like conservative books. But then the like dork nerds who buy into it are going to the movie and being like, we're the only ones in the theater, even though it said it was sold out. Coincidence? It's like, no, it's not a coincidence, but it's also not what you think it is.
Yeah. You should feel sad.
We're being silenced. No, you're not.
The producers and people involved in the film ended up being more involved in the trafficking part than the saving part.
I did see that one of the producers was, but he like wasn't. It was like almost like how I was a producer on that show that Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion did after Firefly.
I mean,
Con Man.
You did a Kickstarter. You donated money, damn it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But I just mean like,
well, like
not super affiliated with it.
The co-star and it also was affiliated with something that
the co-star was.
Yeah, so Jim Caviezel's co-star. And then I mean Jim Caviezel's in a bunch of Mel Gibson was in a Mel Gibson movie, so that's already not great. There's a lot
Gibson
of
didn't
bad.
Traffic though, right? He was just racist.
He didn't.
Not
He's just
racist,
anti-Semitic.
but yeah.
There's just a lot of bad. There's just a lot of bad.
Number 2.
It's a weird one. Yeah.
I mean, I can keep talking about it for like 5 hours. So if you guys want to go down that rabbit hole.
Number 2. This Aviators Jr. was famously kidnapped in 1932. And the plastic, ever-smiling, giant-headed, regal mascot of this fast food chain would be an easy suspect in future kidnappings.
What? Could you say that again?
Yeah, same question.
Okay.
The last part? I just need the last part.
Just the last part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the plastic, ever-smiling, giant-headed, regal mascot of this fast food chain would be an easy suspect in future kidnappings.
Okay.
The Limburger baby, or Limburger King baby. But no.
You're onto it though. That's right.
Yeah. No, you got it. It's Charles Lindbergher King.
Okay,
Yeah. I got so hung up on the word regal. And then when you said, oh God, speaking of stuff we should take offline, maybe cut this. When you said plastic headed, I thought that you were being like really mean about Nicole Kidman in those ads. That's not even Regal though. That's AMC, right? I was like, why would you say that?
Regal's got the really bad ones that are movie codes.
No, we're leaving it in. It's all staying in. I added Regal because as I often do, I present these to my wife as like, hey, what do you think of this? And she was like Bob's Big Boy, because that's an orange plastic mascot. And I was like, well, I gotta add King in.
When you said otherwise, that's how I changed
big
it.
plastic headed. Yeah.
I also said Hamburglar, but he doesn't smile. Just like
I also was thinking Hamburglar.
Yeah.
I'm like, kidnapping?
Actually, Charles Lindbergher would be a pretty good. That is a pretty good one.
Save that. Take that back to your wife. Run that faster.
Yeah, I'm gonna run that up the flagpole. We'll see what we hear from management. Number 3. Number 3. Hey, this is a person you mentioned earlier. Mel Gibson famously yells, "Give me back my son," at Gary Sinise in this 1996 kidnapping film. And this is the name of the recreational drug at the center of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
Soma.
All right. That's a thing. You got that.
So
I know books.
For a Mel Gibson movie.
A Mel Gibson movie where he famously yells, "Give me back my son."
Boo.
That intersects with Som.
Yeah.
Ransom.
Oh.
There you go.
Ransoma.
Yeah. Ransoma. You see what I did there.
Never heard of the movie. Catching on to Nate's tricks.
I saw that movie when it came out. Actually, a pretty good movie. It's got Rene Russo. It's got Sinise.
Yeah.
And there's a very memorable sequence where the boy pees himself, and that is how Mel Gibson recognizes that maybe someone who he knows isn't who he thinks they are.
Oh,
that's interesting.
No spoilers.
The movie. That's very weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Number 4. Any poison pen letter writer worth their salt is acquainted with this glue and paper based art form. And this is the name for beer that's been brewed and conditioned at low temperature.
I know that I can get the arts and crafts portion.
Is it collage?
It is collage.
Oh, I was doing a deep cut. I was like decoupage. I was like,
Oh.
Decoupage is a little more specific, right? Because I looked these two things up. The decoupage is like you're putting a layer of image on like a bowl or something like that, and then coding that. Whereas collage is a little more like cut something out of a magazine and stick it on a piece of paper.
That's much more in line with the ransom theme.
There we go. So we got collage. Now you need a type of beer that's brewed and conditioned at low temperature. Lager. You see what I did there.
Yay!
See, you didn't need to.
Beautiful.
You weren't out of practice. You were great. If anything, we're all out of practice.
This is like,
fair.
There was one time that I was just on fucking fire, and I feel like I was like really sleep deprived, which is what's going on here. So I just need to like always be tired for our recording.
Yeah.
I'll start calling you in the middle of the night. I need you at 100%, Kelly.
It's like in Glenn Ross. ABC, always be closing. ABT, always be tired.
Always be tired.
How are you doing that?
Yeah.
That's my secret. I'm always tired.
That's my secret. That's my secret.
The incredible sulk.
The incredible sleep.
We need to get the Sandman on the podcast. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Neil Gaiman?
That would be so good. Oh, he can come too.
Great.
Neil, I know you're a big listener. Write in with your availability.
And look, if you want to do the Patreon thing, you could probably pay for all of us to live for like 5 years, and then we can just do whatever. If you want to
hear the labor episode, please.
So let's talk about Debs here with this first ransom note. This is a tough one. I think this is really genuinely a tough one. I am torn on it because I think it's very interesting, but it's also very unfulfilling because we really don't know. Like, there's so much that isn't solved. Like, even this amazing mystery of how did these letters end up in these people's basement, we don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little like, it's a little bit of a tease.
It's lost.
But I also I like a mystery because it makes my brain light up. If I'm just given all the facts, I'm like, got it. Nothing for me to do here.
Yeah, I'm not going to a Jim Caviezel movie about this.
No. Give me a puzzle. Let me puzzle. Let me noodle.
This was a very puzzly one.
Yeah. Layers of puzzles.
Kept asking more questions than answering. Good point.
Yeah.
Especially, we haven't talked about this yet, how convenient that a researcher finds it in the house. You know what I mean?
That is convenient.
Ooh.
So
that is very
talk about
convenient.
Conspiracy theorists coming out of the woodwork.
Are we sure this is an actual researcher and not like a I do my own researcher kind of person too?
Oh, fuck.
So everyone's a researcher now. Is that what you're saying?
Anybody can say that. Yeah, I was researching the best doodly-doo on the internet.
Yes,
we're going to have to come back, give this a Deb rating next week after we do a little bit more of
research.
Our own research.
Yeah. You do a little self-searching.
I don't know. Okay. Obviously, I'm not happy that this child was kidnapped and subsequently lost to history and to time.
Yeah, that's fair. But he could have had a really happy.
He could have had a happy.
He could have had a happy.
Could have had a happy.
We could all have a happy.
Not me. Not optimistic. But this kid might
Maybe
have.
he got kidnapped by a guy.
I just need to be fucking
nose.
kidnapped.
There you go.
That puts me at a 5 then. Possibility of kidnapping really tips the scales. Kidnapping bad. Innovation cool.
Right?
That's
it's a new
fair.
technology.
New technology.
No one had ever turned letter writing against parents before.
Yeah.
At least not in America.
Yeah. I'm sitting on a 3 with this. I think we did great. I love us.
Yeah,
I love everything that
course.
we've done here today.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
a 5,
that I
for
think
sure.
that this
Every
story
time.
is interesting. I think it's a I think this is a compelling circumstance. I just find myself walking away from it going, okay, cool. Like almost not it's weird because not enough actually happened as a consequence of it.
Mm,
Oh yeah.
mm.
They were just like, oh well, this will be a felony now. Stealing,
Yeah.
taking human beings from their parents when they're underage. Now it's a more serious crime. But I was hoping to read something that was like, hey, and this is what kicked off the idea that, like, if we don't find this kid in the first 24 hours, it's probably toast, right? Like, that, like, there's no
Well, that's
hint,
a future episode now.
right?
Notably, you did call that child an it. So,
Well, because I'm talking about generalized children. I'm not talking about this specific Charley Ross.
sure.
Okay, that's.
And also, I don't want to misgender the child. Charlie never had a chance
I
to
don't know if
say.
it is
The
a
word
good...
they would have
Yeah.
worked. Use at least person.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Look, I'm going to leave that in, but I'm sorry.
I know that's not what you meant.
But yeah, I would have thought like something more consequential might have come out of this. And instead, this is sort of, it feels a little bit like, because there is a lot of mystery there, but it's also like almost not enough cool mystery. It's a little too much like the Richard Gere Mothman Prophecies movie, where you're like, this could be so fucking cool, but it's just not quite cool enough. And it's like, there's hints, there's moments.
Have I told you I'm going to the Mothman Festival in a couple weeks?
What?
Yeah. Sure am. I'm going to catch him.
Where is it?
Where do you think it is? It's in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the site of the bridge collapse.
Excellent. So yeah, are you gonna respond to, because I send you the meme that was like the bumper sticker that said the Mothman is a generous lover?
I did respond, and furthermore, I saved it to my phone and sent it to my coworkers because Mothman is a meme on my team at work.
Hell yeah. So great.
Oh wait, their question for you was, did a Mothman make that bumper sticker?
I think it's pretty obvious that a Mothman did. Like,
Yeah, I'd make out with bugs. I've changed my mind.
when you get back, we're doing an
What if it's a
episode
lightning bug?
about your first Mothman festival. That is
Oh,
that is an
great.
episode, and you were telling
That
us
sounds
all
great.
about it. That is happening.
That sounds great.
That is happening on
have-
this show.
Yay! Can Savannah come? Savannah's going to the festival.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay!
Yes, please.
And if Mothman comes back with you and he's put a ring on it and y'all just like, or whatever, I'm not trying to tie you down to any sort of
Yeah, let's
heteronormative
not bring
structures.
paperwork into this.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't want an egg sack or anything to deal with.
Oh. I don't know. 4. I'm going a 4, Debs.
Okay.
Because I like the mystery. And I like that now I can go read this guy's memoir and end of sentence.
Chelsea?
I'm also gonna go 4, but for a different reason. The penmanship plus the way everything was phrased and misspelled. That combination is what is giving it a 4.
Yeah.
Nate, your argument took my 5 down to a 4. But I'm still giving it a 4.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
So
and
you are influential, if that helps.
that makes me feel very good. But you're also influential because part of me is like, oh yeah, those letters are really charming, and I kind of want to bump mine up to a 4 also.
So just an average 4.
just boom. Let's just go 4 across the board because it's
Solid
true.
4.
Reading these letters, and you're sort of like, okay, because there is something here where you either have people who are very constructively trying to make letters that seem like they're written by people who cannot write, or you're picturing kind of someone who's struggling to assemble a letter to ask for money, and like they cannot figure out how to do it.
What if it's their neighbor? Sorry.
Well, a neighbor.
Rich neighborhood, someone pretending. That just makes me feel like it could be a neighbor trying to be dumb.
So
Beautiful penmanship, but bad spelling.
Well, this happens a lot with ransom notes or notes to the media,
To
like
throw them off.
Zodiac and BTK both like quote dumbed down their writing
Did
to
they?
throw them off the chase.
Or are they just
Well,
dumb?
the only reason that I believe that they did is because they were really inconsistent. Like sometimes they'd get it right, and then in the next sentence they'd be like, duh, what I meant was like.
Well, then
So
I think
they're
there's-
even dumb at trying to be smart. Got it. I feel,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly,
I
yeah.
feel okay about that. I feel confident about that.
I think there's also a mix of like delusion of grandeur thing too, where it's like
yes.
you believe yourself to be so above and beyond the comprehension of other people
entirely what
that
it
you're
is. Yeah.
Huh.
You're like, oh, let me reduce myself to talk to the plebeians, and it's like, okay, you barely spelled your last name right.
Sir, this is an Arby's.
yeah. Oh, you made a cipher? Okay, let me look.
All right, it's 4s across the board. That works for me.
Is it? Did you actually choose 4 because we didn't want to do the math? Because that's fair.
No,
I
be
that
honest.
No, I do think that's a compelling argument, and I did sort of forget the nature of the letters themselves. Like the letters themselves are very interesting. The fact that there is a bound group of 22 letters is absurd. Honestly, that is absurd that they would exist.
Yeah.
Are they
would have
still
been held
on
on.
loan to that museum? Could you go see them?
Oh,
Yeah, that's our plan. We're gonna visit. We're gonna go see him, right?
Yeah.
We'll go check them out when we
We're
solve
gonna-
this crime.
and here's what we're gonna do: we're not gonna go during regular museum hours. We're breaking
No.
in at night.
Oh,
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
Of course we are.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some of those suction cups. We're gonna get some black
Yeah.
turtlenecks. This is gonna be a blast.
Yep.
We're gonna be so fashionable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Except, sorry, Nate, you're going to look like Steve Jobs.
Oh,
He really
yeah,
took
true,
the-
you will.
He really took and owned the black turtleneck thing.
It's true. It's true.
We're going to look like Elizabeth Holmes if that, God, especially
That's-
Chelsea. Am I right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, could you try like
I'll
just
lower my voice.
yeah.
No, so I can do this. It's fine.
Have you
Just
tried
follow me
turning the
into
lock the
this.
other way?
I'll go through the window. It's fine.
Oh, we're losing it. We're losing it.
On our next episode of this very program, we are going to be discussing the first Paddington sequel film. We're going to be talking about Paddington 2.
Yay! Question: Do I need to
Yay.
watch Paddington 1?
Yeah, will I get Paddington
Can I
2
just
if
start
haven't
with
seen
2,
Paddington
or do
1?
I need to watch? I did watch the first one when it came out in theaters. However, I don't remember it at all.
I am not
Bear.
watching the first one. I'm familiar enough with the Paddington mythos. We
Okay,
got a
perfect.
bear, eats marmalade, got abandoned at a train station,
Okay.
adopted by
Aw,
people.
Spoilers!
He wears a raincoat. It's adorable. One of my best friends growing up, like I think they went
a
to
bear.
England or something.
I thought you were
Yeah,
gonna say it was
he was a bear.
Paddington.
Yeah. When I talked about sometime there was a bear, it was my friend.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But there was a period of time where they like had a Paddington, like a stuffed
Aw.
Paddington,
Oh.
like toy, and then
Were they British?
no, but it was just like they had like an Anglophilic sort of period in their family
Gotcha.
life. Yeah,
Sure.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Don't we all?
that's how I kind of know about it. But all I know about Paddington 2 is that there is some sort of musical number that is supposed to be fantastic, and I can't
So
wait.
wait,
No.
None
I
of
love
us have
musical
seen
number.
Paddington 2.
Nope.
Ooh, I haven't. Okay, I'm excited because this is like world renowned as one of the greatest of all the films.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be like
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
best sequels ever. So here we go. The first Paddington sequel, Paddington 2.
And we're not even watching the first one. We're gonna
No,
kill this.
no. I mean, I'm not.
Two-
I'm so
two
excited
pad,
for
two-
this.
2.
I was already excited.
Too pad, too
but-
furious.
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. I'm not watching the first one. I want to go into
No,
this
me
ice
either.
cold. So
Okay.
if anyone does want to watch the first one, I'd be like, well, here's the change between the two movies. That's very cool. But I'm just gonna be like, I have no idea what this is. I don't know why there's a bear.
I guess we'll
I
just
think
find
it'll
out what
have-
the bear gets up to. We might not find out the
Yeah.
why. I don't know. Maybe Paddington 2
why.
is an existential journey. What do we call him for short? We'll find out next episode. Teaser trailer.
Listeners, what would you call Paddington 2? You can give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and write in whatever you'd call Paddington 2. And then we can respond to that at some point in the future. Maybe in Paddington 3, which we're all going to start making shortly after watching Paddington 2.
Oh,
That's a lot of effort.
Nate's the bear, right?
I can
Yeah.
be.
Be the
You want
bear.
me
I'll
to,
be the
you want to play
In Paddington 3.
the bear?
And we're the lesbian parents.
Perfect. It's gonna be so well adjusted.
Excellent. Yeah. Hey, look. Two moms, no waiting.
Neurotic.
If listeners, you like this podcast, and I wouldn't blame you if you did, because I sure do. Please subscribe wherever you listen and give us that review. Give us that rating. Do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Do it.
Please, may I have a review?
If you like the music that happens on this show, you need to listen to Michael J. O'Connor. You can find him at michaeljoconnor.bandcamp.com. If you want to read science fiction and other kinds of indie published books, go to readspaceboy.com. Check out Spaceboy Books. I publish books there with my co-founder, Sean. They are good. People write them. They are good. I have been exceptionally busy over the last 2 weeks because a bunch of people want us to publish them, which is super exciting.
Yay!
Tons of books. I got all the way through winter of 2024 mapped out
Wow.
for publishing books.
Fuck.
It's a lot of books.
Cool.
I want to clap, but that doesn't come through on the thing very well.
I know. I'm just
I'm
like,
really
yay!
excited.
Oh, and if you want to listen to me and Chelsea talk about horror movies, you can find us over on Never Show the Monster. It's fun and stupid.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about it.
It's also really informative. You guys have good takes. You have good takes.
I mean, you
thanks.
need to fact check them.
They're hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
for sure.
I didn't say accurate takes. I said good takes.
Tune in
your
and
first
listen to us be wrong
Yeah.
for an hour and 15 minutes a week. 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, listeners, thanks so much for joining us for this episode on the First Ransom Note. Get back with us in a fortnight. We're going to talk about Paddington 2. And as always, the opposite of ahoy. Yo-ha. Bye, buddies.
Yo-ha!
Yo-ha, buddies.
First is best, or first is worst.